In the early 4th century, the Roman Empire was an ever-changing landscape, with power shifting, alliances forming and breaking, and the constant struggle between old and new beliefs. One of the most significant shifts occurred in the realm of religion, specifically concerning Christianity. In the year 311, Emperor Galerius issued an Edict of Tolerance. This wasn't an admission of any wrongdoing on his part, but rather he justified it as a political necessity. He didn't acknowledge the failure of the Christian persecution. In his view, the Christians had simply remained stubborn. The change was attributed to the emperor's kindness and mercy. This made sense to him, as the Christians seemed incapable of submitting to his authority. Regardless, this marked a turning point in the state's relationship with Christians, who were now expected to pray for the state and their own salvation, something they might have done anyway. The shift became even more pronounced with the rise of Emperor Constantine, particularly after his victory at the Milvian Bridge, where he reportedly experienced a vision of a cross. In the year 313, Constantine and Licinius, the emperor of the eastern half of the empire, agreed on the Edict of Milan. This effectively granted religious freedom and admitted that previous imperial decisions concerning Christians were erroneous. This shift was accompanied by the restitution of confiscated Christian properties by provincial governors. In the following years, various edicts favoring Christians were issued. In the year 318, an edict granted bishops legal jurisdiction, essentially equating them with state judges. Another edict allowed bishops to use state transportation for synods. In 319, clerics were exempted from taxes and duties, and by 321, clerics crossing the Jordan were allowed to name church communities as their heirs. Significantly, an edict from the same year gave bishops the right to free slaves and grant Roman citizenship to those freed within a church community. The law also prohibited legal proceedings on the Day of the Sun, reserving the day for vows and religious services with the exception of freeing slaves. It became illegal to sentence people to gladiatorial activities for crimes, instead sentencing them to work in mines. We can see then that Constantine ruled the church in a manner typical of a Pontifex Maximus. This self-perception is reflected by Bishop Eusebius of Caesarea, who describes him as a liberator, savior, benefactor of the Romans, sole ruler and victor over tyrants, a teacher of mankind in godliness, armored with divine armor, and chosen by God as ruler. By this point, the relationship between the church and Constantine was close. As we've heard, Constantine was very concerned about the unity of the church, a task traditionally assigned to a bishop. Of course, he was not one. To summarize, the 4th century was a period of significant change for the Roman Empire and Christianity. The Edict of Tolerance by Emperor Galerius marked a turning point in the state's relationship with Christians, which was further solidified by Emperor Constantine's reign. Constantine issued various edicts favoring Christians, and his close relationship with the church significantly influenced its development during this period. These historical events highlight the evolving nature of power, belief, and the relationship between church and state in the early years of Christianity.